So this is meant to just be a quick update, showing you guys that I've been fleshing out this particular blog post on my WordPress blog, Celebrity Reigns List. It's called Tesla, Rodin's Coil, This Mortal Coil, The Flower of Life, The Seraphim, and Ancient Jewish Magic. And I won't read through it, but I will do a quick overview, and I will post the link in the description. And there's still a lot more I have to add to this, but again, just to get some of the info out there, for any of you interested in occulted symbolism. So you can see here, the image at the top is what's known as a rodin's coil wrapping around a vortex. And the two images beneath that one are Freemasonry gravestones. And these are just two examples. There are a lot of Freemason gravestones out there with this symbol or a similar symbol on them. And it's a snake eating its own tail. That's known as the Ouroboros. It's meant, as far as I know, it's meant to represent the most primordial first entity, the oversoul. That also would be known as maybe possibly the true light. That which is within all of us, that we are all within. So, and then you can see in the middle of the Ouroboros is an hourglass, a winged hourglass. So make note that that seems to be portraying the image above. And the image above, the vortex with the rodin's coil wrapped around it, as far as I understand it, is supposed to represent all of existence, really. Not just the physical world, but spiritual world. Here's another representation of it down here. Let's see if I can... something along those lines. You can see the vortices in the center, and then the sort of globe around it would be the Ouroboros. And then we have sort of a central point, an event horizon there. So it seems to me that the Ouroboros is meant to represent this, the rodin's coil. It looks like a donut. And it's sort of laid out according to, I believe according to what Tesla wrote about numbers. His, the way he laid out the 3, 6, and the 9. And I'll be adding, that's not in this yet, I'll be adding that. Well, I think I have a few images of it. So we have an Ouroboros, or a rodin's coil. It seems to be sort of how energy works, since all of existence and life is basically made up of energies. And it's wrapped around a vortex, and there's a vortex in towards a central point, an 8-pointed star, and a vortex out. So I've already gotten into this to some degree, but I wanted to cover it a little bit more. It seems to me, meditating upon this, one might be inclined to think that the vortex in and the vortex out are meant to represent sort of the great, possibly the great mother and the great father, since a downward pointing triangle is often considered to be feminine, and an upward pointing triangle is often considered to be masculine. However, I've made the argument, I'm making it again, that the downward pointed triangle can be phallic and masculine as well. And so we see that. I'll come back around to this. We see that sometimes in symbols like this one, where we have a knight or a hero or a king of some sort jabbing a sword or a lance into a dragon. So the Ouroboros or the rodin's coil is often represented with something like a dragon, a serpent. And a sword or a lance is a phallic symbol. And so this is a downward thrusting into the Ouroboros. So in that way, it seems like this is meant to represent a father energy and a son energy. So father and son. The father being the downward pointing triangle at the top, and the son being the upward pointing triangle at the bottom. So some symbols have an idea of something breaking out from an egg, a world egg, that's also can be synonymous with the Ouroboros, and it's breaking out through the top. So that seems to be a reference to the upward pointing triangle at the bottom, penetrating from beneath and breaking out through the top. And then again, we have symbols like the knight slaying the dragon, penetrating from the top down through the bottom. And we see this pattern of this father figure versus son figure repeat itself over and over again in stories from throughout history. We have modern day stories that show it. We have some ancient stories of this father and son, father and child, resentful of each other, battling each other, going to war with one another, and causing this kind of chaos within the oversoul, within the world egg, within the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros, as far as I can tell as well, would be representative more of the Great Mother. The first entity, all things are within her. She's pregnant with all of life, all of existence. So, Great Mother. And then you would have the two boys. This also makes sense if you look at it through the lens of ancient stories like Osiris, Horus, and Isis. 2 males, 1 female. Semiramis, Nimrod, Tammuz. 2 males, 1 female. So the female is the Ouroboros, the Great Mother wrapping around all things. You could also go look up the world egg. It's the same idea. And then the 2 males fighting it out are these 2 triangles that seem to be sort of penetrating within her. So again, yeah, we see this in There Will Be Blood. It's one example. With Daniel and Eli. The cross, by the way, the Christian cross, is a phallic symbol. It's much older than Christianity. It can be attributed to Shiva of the Hindu pantheon. This specific symbol was a symbol of Shiva at one point, and a symbol of the phallus. A probably far more well-known story that also shows this pattern is Peter Pan, The Adventures of Peter Pan. We have an older male fighting at war always with a younger male, sort of father and son warring with each other. And there's always a crocodile involved. like, you know, like a serpent or snake or dragon. And in the real story of Peter Pan, I have yet to go in and read the original story, but I've heard people comment on it and sort of give some excerpts. The real Peter Pan was supposedly quite demonic. He would lure lost boys back to Never Never Land, and then when they started to grow up, he would kill them, sacrifice them, and some of them would escape, and they would be the ones to become the pirates. That's why the pirates hated Peter Pan in the original story, it seems, is because they were his lost boys at one point, and then he betrayed them. And I haven't completely worked it out yet, but as far as I can tell, the central point might be Wendy. Wendy might represent the central point. I'm not sure. Her name, Wendy, means white ring. Or perhaps she represents the Great Mother. And so it's been also my opinion that, again, the Great Mother tries to recreate herself. I'm not sure, and that's what the central point is. A point is just a circle, another circle. So it's possible Wendy and the crocodile are almost like two symbols representing the same thing. Or the crocodile is the outer Great Mother, and Wendy is the newer princess, I guess. I don't know 100% yet. But these patterns do repeat themselves in stories. Old male versus young male, with some kind of a serpent or dragon involved. Or something representing like a motherly symbol. A mother aspect. So here are more depictions of Freemasonry gravestones with the Ouroboros. And this time, some of them have a butterfly in the center. And I'm pointing out here how, if you step back, that kind of looks like a butterfly. The 4 different sections, it seems to be broken up into, even though if you looked at it from a more 3D angle, you would see those are really more like donut tubes, I guess. But we're talking about turning spiritual essences and energies into 2D, 2-dimensional images. So that's what this butterfly, as far as I can tell, is meant to represent. Sort of the space in between. And I posted a few videos on the rodin's coil and vortexes. I think I watched at least like the bottom one, most of it, a while back. I watched a good amount of the middle one. I haven't seen the top one quite yet. Well, I saw some of it, but not all of it. I have to go back and watch them again. A lot of this, like this stuff, is from over a year ago. Here you can see how, with this image in the center, this is how Tesla would lay out the 3, 6, and the 9, the 3, 9, and 6, and the rest of the numbers within a wheel. And you can see that the 3, 9, and 6, 3, 6, 9, he would consider those to be power numbers, and they form like an upward pointing triangle. Within what looks like the other shape that's being formed there is looks like a W or a butterfly or possibly like a female pelvis. It's formed by the 5 1 2 4 8 7 5 1 2 4 8 7. And that seems to make, again, like a W, woman, or butterfly, or pelvis, female pelvis possibly. And it seems to be being penetrated by the 3 6 9, the triangle that's formed by those numbers. Flower of life, the flower of life, again, as far as I can tell, is another representation of the Ouroboros, or the true light, or the oversoul. This energy that we all come from and is within all of us, and we are within it. It's all things, so we're in it. Yeah. And this is me just showing how the seraphim, the angels that had the 6 wings and the eyes on the 6 wings, how that's just a description of the individual flowers within the flower of life. So you can see, if you look at one of the individual flowers in the flower of life, it's got 6 petals, 6 wings, and each petal ends in the center point of another flower. So it's like an eye, has a little eye in the center of each flower, and each wing ends at the center point at another eye. So angels with eyes all over them. There's a lot of depictions of these. I think I just couldn't choose between them, and I was like, they're all kind of pretty, so I just added a lot of them. I dumped them in this post. So yeah, again, just slowly but surely working on it. And adding to it, and I will try to keep you guys updated. I guess give me your opinion, let me know what you think. If I'm wrong about what the Ouroboros represents, or what the vortex represents, or if you think you know what the 8-pointed star represents, leave your comments. And again, I'll post a link in the description to the blog post.